It's great to have you all here. So let's give about 2 3 minutes to allow people to join in. Let's allow people to join in so that everybody can benefit. Whilst we're doing that, you can like, you can share, tell that internationally educated nurse, that internationally educated midwife who is looking at relocating to elsewhere other than their home country to practice. Tell them that Just in Greatness is on a live session and today is another story time. All right? Let's share. Let's share the live. So it's 5 minutes past 1700 in the UK. Byron, I see you. Nest in UK is here. I can see you. Um, wow. What a profile name. Don't follow me. Oh, Truth Hunter 266. That's a lovely profile name. Is it Benny Dufie? It's great to have you all here, guys. If you just joined in, today is a story time. An internationally educated nurse who is currently practicing in Canada is going to share her life story, how she went about the whole process. So if you just joined in, please stay tuned. Rosita, Bam Bam One. Emeka, is great to have you here. It's great to have you all here, guys. We are going to be kicking the ball rolling very soon in about 2 minutes. And so please do well to tell that friend, that colleague that we are live. If you are looking at relocating to Canada, we are here for you today. So please do well to let them know so we can start in a few minutes. What's relocation packages from UK? Bam Bam, are you looking at relocating to the UK? If the answer is yes, Maureen na Adolese, it's been a while I joined your live. Oh, Maureen. Yeah, it's great to have you here. You are back. It's great to have you back here. Bless you, Maureen. Um, Ivaro, it's great to have you here. So, Bam Bam, from UK to Canada. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, Bam Bam. So today the story is Canada relocation. So please don't go anywhere. Gertrude says, I'm interested in relocating to Canada, but don't know how to go about it. Oh my God, Gertrude, you are the reason we are here today. Okay? You are the reason. So please don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. I'm going to go live on YouTube as well. So just give me 1 minute. Let me set up so that the YouTube community members can also join in a bit. I'm also interested in Canada now. Maureen Adelaide, wonderful. No worries. You are the reason why we are here today. So please stay tuned. Yeah, Abinan Shira, stay tuned. That is why we are here. The live just started, and so you came in at the right time. You are not missing anything. All right. So I would say that if you were on any of my live sessions, um, um, about any of the countries I've spoken about, be it Iceland, Bahamas, Luxembourg, Canada, UK, USA, Finland, New Zealand, Australia, and you feel you missed it, I want to say that the replay of all my live sessions are available. The replay of all my live sessions are available on my YouTube channel. So please do well to watch my YouTube channel. You get all those replays there. All right. When you go onto my YouTube channel, you find it in the playlist titled Relocation or Immigration. And my YouTube channel name is Josephine Greatness TV. So you Josephine Greatness, just as you see here on TikTok up there, just add TV to it and you find me. Or if you want to make it, as straightforward as possible, just go onto my TikTok page in my TikTok bio, you find my YouTube channel link there. Click on it, it will take you straight into my YouTube channel, and you get all the live replays, how to relocate to Luxembourg, to Iceland, to Bahamas, to Canada, to UK, to Australia, to New Zealand as an internationally educated nurse or midwife. There was a live session as well I had with a medical doctor who is currently practicing in Germany. So you should, if any of these topics you feel will benefit you, but then you missed the live session, please head on to my YouTube channel after this live session and you get a replay of all of these topics. All right. Thank you, Legit Winner, for the follow. I really appreciate that. So we will be getting into today's session. Let's just set up here on YouTube. Guys, oh, Gertrude. Gertrude said yes, please. Also share some names of agencies, especially those sponsoring nurses from Africa to Canada. Yes, we will handle all of that, Gertrude. Um, yeah, I was just setting up the live on YouTube, and then we'll head straight into the questions. Kindly give me a second. You're welcome. You're welcome, Gertrude. You're welcome, Gertrude. Hi, everybody. If you just joined in on YouTube, you are welcome. It is still Just Being Greatness on Just Being Greatness TV. And on TikTok, you are welcome. It is Just Being Greatness, your midwife. And today, guys, it is another storytelling time. Um, by popular request, on the 30th of August, one of my community members on TikTok asked for a live session with anybody who has gone through the UK relocation journey in this 2025. And so I was on a live session with an internationally educated midwife who has successfully gone through the process of relocating to UK and got her job in 2025. She shared the story, and it was an amazing moment we all had here. It was encouraging. It's boosted and motivated anybody that joined the live session and anyone who watched the replay. So out of that, I thought of it that why not, come on a live session with people who have gone through the routes I have shared on my page or on my YouTube channel, so that it can, encourage people. So today I am here with an internationally educated nurse who is currently practicing in Canada. I nearly said Ghana because, of course, I'm a Ghanaian. So she is going to share with us her relocation journey, how she went about the whole process from step by step, the challenges she went through, how life is in Canada, practicing as an internationally educated nurse. So if you are here and you are somebody who is looking at relocating to Canada, or you are already in the process of, heading over to Canada to practice in your healthcare profession, this live session is yours. And if you know anybody who wants to go through this process or is already going through this process, make sure that you shout it out to them. Tell them that we are on a live session and it will benefit them. So I'm going to invite my guests onto the guest seat now, and we are going to go through the process. So as usual, guys, as usual, I am going to have a discussion session with the guest. My guest is nurse in Canada. As you can see her name on the seat, she is a nurse in Canada. Nurse in Canada, you're welcome.
Hi everyone.
So she is going to share her story. I'm going to ask her some few questions. She's going to answer, share her story, and then intermittently, I'm going to look through the comment section. If any of you have popped a question in there, she is going to answer those questions for you. And if you want to request to join the guest seat to ask your questions, you are free to do that at any point at all in the live session. So you are welcome, Miss in Canada. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hello everyone.
Wonderful. So, guys, if you can hear Ness in Canada, please let me know. Pop in the comment section. We can hear her voice, because I just want to test to see if everything is working well. Um,
I'm just gonna change my background because of my little soldiers.
okay,
Yeah. Uh,
great. So, guys, can you hear Ness in Canada's voice well? Um, can't, can't. I can see. Wonderful. That's amazing. Thank you very much for that
awesome.
feedback. So, without wasting much time, Ness in Canada, let's go straight into it. So, first of all, can you please introduce yourself and share where you are originally from?
Okay. Hello everybody. I am originally from Nigeria. This is the first time I'm actually saying my actual name on any live because I go by nurse in Canada. My name is Elizabeth. I am a registered nurse in Canada. But I'm originally Nigerian and I have been working as a nurse even in Nigeria before I moved to Canada. So
Wonderful.
currently I work as an oncology nurse, and I say oncology nurse because I'm not a chemo certified nurse, but I work in oncology as that's like my primary unit where I provide care.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that amazing intro. So, what inspired you to become a nurse?
Hmm. Is there really an inspiration? I don't think so. Okay, well, the truth of the matter is like I've always wanted to do that. And then my eldest brother is a medical doctor, a physician assistant rather. So there was like somebody to kind of look up to, but I knew I did not want to do medicine categorically. I knew it wasn't medicine. So when people say, why didn't you do medicine? I know I did not want to do medicine, but I still wanted to do that. So I just felt, okay, I'd rather do nursing. And it's been awesome.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. This one, let me be a bit inquisitive. Why didn't you want to do medicine? Why
I
not?
don't know. I feel like I play too much, and I felt something was going to not really play too much, not to study, but I felt something was going to maybe take away my fun part because I have seen people who are in med school and all of that, and I don't know. I
They are
just
so
felt like
serious.
there's no way this is going to. Maybe they will send me away eventually or something. I don't know, but I just knew it wasn't really my thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, why did you, of all the countries in the world, why Canada?
That's a very beautiful question, and I like it. The truth of the matter is, like, I never wanted to go to the UK. I don't like the UK. Not, I haven't been there to be honest, but like from what I see from the TV, like everything is so small, so conservative. Let me put it that way. Um, so UK was out of the question. Canada was never on my mind. It was initially UK or US, but I knew I didn't want the UK. So US, obviously, I wanted to go to the US, but they did not want me because two times I tried, I got denied. And I actually wanted to go as a student because at the time, not many people were going as nurses. People would go as students and stuff. So I wanted to go for my master's, but the two times I tried, they said, no, we don't want you. So I stayed back and, you know, obviously continued working and things started moving on. And then people started talking about Canada. I'm like, okay, I can actually try Canada. Okay, I can try it. So I tried a couple of times, but I think at the time they didn't really need a lot of people until COVID happened and then ended. So that was like my break. Yeah, that was my break. So the COVID time was like my, will I say, my good faith time to move on and do a lot of things. So that's how Canada came into the picture.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, guys, if you just joined in, you are most welcome. As you can see on the screen today, we are talking about Canada relocation. Today is a storytelling time. We've got the lovely nurse in Canada on the guest seat, and she's sharing with us um, her relocation journey as an internationally educated nurse to Canada. She's currently practicing in Canada. So, you're welcome if you just joined in. Those who are liking the live, those who are sharing it, those who are following both myself and Nurse in Canada, we really appreciate you. So Nurse in Canada, let's move straight into your relocating journey. How did you start the process of relocating as a nurse to Canada?
Okay, so it goes in different phases. Initially, I had friends who had moved as just permanent residents, but they were not medical people. They were maybe IT people, economists, like those were the kind of friends I had that had moved. So I started asking questions, and then I found out that I had to do something extra aside from moving as a PR. Okay. So I started asking more and more questions. And then coincidentally, I heard about a colleague at work that had relocated to Canada. So I reached out and I asked, what to do and all of that. So he started putting me through in terms of what verification to do and all that. Obviously, he also made some mistakes. So obviously, I learned from his mistake because I reached out to ask questions. There were some verifications he did not do, like his license verification. He just went as a PR, and then it started taking him a longer time to actually practice. So I learned from that, and then he was advising me start your verification from back home before you come. Do the express entry because I think at the time he said he went through an agent
Okay.
at that time. So
Mm.
obviously he was giving me advice. Why don't you do it as a permanent, come through permanent residency, but still do your verification of your license and all of that, so that when you come, you're able to write the exam and all of that. So I started by getting into the express entry pool because I'm in Canada as a permanent resident. So if you want to do that, then you would have to get into the express entry pool. And for you to be able to do that, you have to verify your highest degree. I had a degree already, so I verified just my BSc because I don't have a master's. If I had a master's, then that would have been my highest degree to evaluate. So I evaluated my BSc in nursing. Then I used the verification body called WES, Worldwide Education Services. Then after that, I did the IELTS. For the express entry immigration, you have to do an IELTS general, not academic. So I
Wow.
did that.
Gen-
Yes. For immigration, for the Canada express entry, you do IELTS general, not academic. So I did that, and then I did my NNAS because this was part of what that my nursing colleague had told me to do to start my nursing verification from back home because it takes a while. So these were all the things I did. Now I did not need the nursing verification, which is the NNAS that everybody talks about, the National Nursing Assessment Services. I didn't need that for the express entry, but it would have made things easier for me when I land in a province. So that is all that part. But then I didn't exactly, or maybe I should wait for the next question so that I'm not bombarding too much, see if it will tie into what I want to say.
okay. I'm not too sure what you were going to say next. but you can go ahead, please.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is, remember that I had mentioned that I my Canada move started happening after COVID.
Yeah.
So at the time, after I did my express entry application,
Mm.
because it's point based, I noticed that I didn't have a lot of points because they call you based on your points. At the time that I was in the express entry pool, my point was 300 and something because of my age, because you tend to lose points
Yeah.
as you get older, kind of thing. So there's something they call provincial nomination, where you go to each of the provinces and express interest. So I moved around different provinces. I went to the province of New Brunswick. You open a different profile, express your interest. I went to, I think, British Columbia. I expressed interest. I went to Newfoundland and Labrador. I was just expressing interest almost everywhere that I felt like they were really looking for nurses. So nobody, the first time the province of New Brunswick responded to me, they didn't pick me. So somebody else told me I had to redo my resume. So I redid my resume and I tried again. Now all of that happened. Maybe a year passed and then COVID ended. And I think at that point in time, they were already short on nurses. So it's like they started pulling out all the people that had reached out to them, basically. So um they sent me a mail to say, "Oh, am I still interested? Have I moved on to another province? Where am I in my journey?" And blah blah blah. So I responded and said, "Oh, I was still interested," and all of that. So remember, COVID had ended, so now they were the one now looking for us. Let me put it that way. So they picked me at that point. I attended the session. After attending the session, I did an interview for a job. So even though I'm a registered nurse in my country, when I get into Canada, I will not work as a nurse because I need to do the NCLEX exam. But my interview were nursing related questions. However, when I arrived, my job that I interviewed for was a PSW job, like a HCA, if you like. So that was the kind of job that I was going to get until I write the NCLEX and then start working as a registered nurse.
Okay. So before we move on to the next question, I can see some questions here. Jimmy is saying, talking about results or highest academic verification. You said you had BSc. How about one that has an RN?
Like a diploma. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, so the question is
Yeah, so if you have a diploma, you have no business evaluating with your WES. What you would do is to evaluate with other verification bodies like the ICAS. I think it's IQAS or ICES. Those are other verification bodies. Now, having said that, things have changed drastically since the last time till now. So some provinces do not even require NNAS. I know the province of Alberta and the province of Ontario use WES, but you would have evaluated your WES for a course by course. What do I mean by that? If I'm going into the express entry pool and I give WES my highest degree to evaluate, they are evaluating my degree as a degree. But if you want to go to a province like the province of Ontario to work as a nurse, you have to evaluate your using WES, but you do it course by course. So when you go on the WES website, you have two options. They ask you, do you want to evaluate for immigration or for academic? So you have to choose the course by course, because if it's going to the province, they don't need it for immigration, obviously. They just want to know if, for instance, the anatomy you did is at par with what they did. So you're doing a course by course
yeah.
evaluation. That's the difference.
So Jimmy, I hope your question is has been answered. And Gertrude, let's see, there was another question. So Gertrude says, "Hey, I'm Gertrude from Zambia. I'm a registered nurse. It's great to have you here, Gertrude." Gertrude says, "I took my NCLEX in April and failed. Is there any agency in Canada that can help me pay to redo?" We'll get there, Gertrude. We'll get there very soon. So please stay tuned. And Gertrude says, "And also I need agency that can help me relocate from Zambia." We'll get there. So let's move straight to our next set of questions. what requirements I've heard you've mentioned NCLEX, you've mentioned the IELTS general, but then just so that we can, answer this particular question for people who are just joining in, what requirements or exams did you have to complete before moving?
So the only exam that I completed before moving was my IELTS, which is the
Okay.
English test exam. However, what some people do now, and I try to do the comparison because some people do it either or, right?
Mm.
What some people do now is after they do the IELTS, they do all these NNAS that I have mentioned by choosing a province and sending everything to that province so the province can evaluate them. If the province is satisfied with what you have, they send you what is called an ATT. That's an authorization to test for the NCLEX. So some people, before they leave their home countries, they already have their NCLEX done.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you recommend that people get their NCLEX done before moving, or they should just move?
So it's really a choice thing. And I say a choice thing because um, there was this one time that you need an authorization to test, you get the NCLEX, you find an employer, but that closed really quickly too because the employers were not, it's not like they were not coming forth, but I think it was now becoming too much that, I don't know, the government basically just kind of like stopped the whole employer thing. That's not to say it's not still happening, it's just a lot more difficult, right? So that's one. What some people also do, like this person asking about an agency and looking for a recruiter or whatever, they can help you get a job, but you will be coming in on a work permit basis
Okay.
if they find the job for you. You'll be coming on as on a work permit basis, but you still need to file for permanent residence. So you still need to get in the express entry pool. So it's a choice thing at the end of the day.
So I can see some questions in here, if I'm not wrong. Um, okay, this user is saying Norway visa, how much? Your WhatsApp number. Okay, so for Norway, the when you go onto my TikTok page, I've posted a photo or a post. There is a post about the whole Norway process, the estimated cost from start to finish. So please head on to my TikTok page after this live session and check it. Okay, you can find it in the relocation or immigration playlist. Okay, um, and WhatsApp number. Yeah, I don't share WhatsApp numbers on a live session. I think the community guidelines, you are not even allowed to do that. So what I'll recommend is join my Telegram page and channel. You'll find the links to my Telegram page and channel in the description section of all my YouTube videos. My YouTube channel link is available in my TikTok bio. Click on it, go into any of the videos, and then join my Telegram page and channel. Okay, and then we'll take it from there. If you want me to DM you, just indicate it on the video. Jimmy, it was great having you here. Wonderful. So, next in Canada, how long did the entire process take from application to the whole relocation?
It's a very personalized journey, I'd like to say. I remember that one of my friends that started the process while COVID was on, she waited until COVID ended. So she waited the whole,
Yeah,
obviously people couldn't move, people couldn't do all the traveling and all that. So she waited that whole period. But like I said, they reached out to me after COVID.
after.
So while hers took 2 years after she waited, mine took 6 months. Because at this point they were getting people in. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it's a personalized journey. I've also heard people who came who their entire process takes a year. Some people it takes less. So it's a very personalized thing because sometimes even when the processing is happening, the immigration officer can ask for an additional document. So obviously things might not move as fast as you had anticipated, right? So they might ask for an additional document. When you send that in, they have to go through that, and then if they're satisfied, you keep moving on and moving on. So it depends.
Wonderful. Great. So, this question is going to help. Was it Jimmy? No, it wasn't Jimmy who asked that question. I think it was Gertrude. Did you use an agency or you handled the process yourself?
I did everything by myself. Everything by myself. Yeah. I
So,
did
are
everything
there
myself.
agencies that people can use?
People use agency. So the question is, are you using an agency because you need a job, or you need an agent or an immigration person because you want to do the express entry? Because I know people use the express entry. They are two different things. Now, I'm all for doing things by yourself. The reason why I say to do things by yourself is you're in the UK, you can attest to what I'm saying. When you move out of your home country, there's a lot of do it yourself that goes on. So if you don't get in the habit of doing things by yourself to a great extent, you would run into a lot of problems because you need to be able to read the fine print. You need to be able to read between the lines. You need to be able to understand what you're getting yourself into. Having said that, there are people who, regardless, they would want to use um, registered immigration consultants and all of that. That's okay. If you want to use like a registered immigration consultant, ensure that the person is authentic. They have a website. If they give you their name, you can go and check if they have active licenses to do what you're paying your money for, because it's your hard-earned money that you're parting with anyway. And then if you want to use agencies, I've heard of some agencies, but I don't know anybody personally that has used the agency. But
Okay,
I know that they are agencies,
okay.
right? So that's the much that I know.
And Gertrude is saying she's asking for an agency because she doesn't have the funds. So that she's looking for an agency that can sponsor her. Are there agencies that are sponsoring people?
Agencies might help you find a job, which kind of like would reduce your proof of fund, or you might not even need to show because they know that you have a job that you're coming to do. But I don't have the intricacies. I can maybe after this life, there's this lady I follow, but I think she's Australian, but she does recruitment for US, Australia, Canada. I can find her handle. I don't have it in my head. I'll send it to you so that maybe you can do like a video on it or something for people who want to know. But I don't know anybody that has personally used her. But I see that that's like what she does. Yeah.
Those on YouTube, can you please confirm if you can hear my guest voice? Please confirm in the comment section so we know if you guys are able to. Great. So let's move on to okay, Gertrude is appreciating your answer. Gertrude, you're welcome. So let's move on to challenges and experiences. What was the most difficult part of the relocation process for you?
So here's the thing. If the bravest thing you can do, and I always say to people, like one of the bravest thing you can do as an adult, because I mean, children are still in their formative years, but as an adult, one of the bravest things you can do is to literally pack up your life and go somewhere else,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So that's one brave thing on its side, on its own. But the other thing that you need to do is to, because this, as much as it is financially draining, it is mentally draining. You're in a land where you know nobody, or you know somebody, but that person has probably been there for a while, right? And has moved on. Person is, you know, and in this side of the world, things move really fast. Bills have to be paid. People are on shift. If they're not on shift, they're on the clock because your time is your money kind of thing, right? So it's a lot of mental um, training you have to do, um, especially for those of us coming from African countries where we probably have just 2 seasons. You're coming to a place where it has 4 seasons. You know, there's a lot of things you have to tell yourself that you can do, and there's a lot of things you begin to be surprised that you can actually do, right? So it's a lot of mental redirection, and you need to do a lot of talking to yourself because, like I said, it's tougher as an adult. So imagine me, like I always say to people when they say, how easy is it? I always say, see, let me tell you something. For somebody like me, this is my 18th year of being a nurse. And then I moved here maybe around my 15th year of being a nurse, and I have to start from the beginning, which is being a HCA. You know what that is? So you're looking at people that probably just finished school yesterday and they're telling you to do something and you're looking at them like, so, but the point is you have a goal, right? So don't look at it that way. You have to just look at it at the fact that you have a goal, you're trying to reach something and all of that. So it's a lot of mental, you tell yourself it's for a bit and you keep working at it so that you can also be proud of yourself that all your effort did not go to waste.
So,
So it's a lot of mental retraining.
and you saw I started smiling because I saw a question in the comment section. Um,
Oh,
who asked it? He said, what's it in? Gertrude again says, how is Canada to single mothers who are relocating with their kids? Is it a friendly country?
it is a friendly country, but people have their lives to live. It's not like back home. I can tell you that 100%. And I say it's not like back home because it's not like this place, it doesn't take a community, but back home, it literally takes a community in the sense that if I'm going somewhere, I can call somebody, and if that person is busy, the person can hook me up with somebody, and the person can help me watch my child, and I can take my child there. I can be go. You can't really do that here. You pay daycare, right? So it's friendly as in friendly, but when it comes to certain responsibilities, you're going to have to weather it by yourself, and you have to figure it out by yourself, and you still need to show up at your job, right? Because you need that job to be able to pay. So it's almost like people are moving constantly, just trying to make the bag and all of that. That's where it gets really, really tough.
New truth is saying money over everything. Yes, it's
Yeah,
money
because
over
everything is so fast paced that it's almost like you have to make the money because you need the money to sort out a lot of things.
So you don't expect somebody to leave their money to come take care of your child without giving them anything. It's it can be challenging, but it's doable.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. That's the thing.
Right. So there's a question in here which has been filtered, but I'll read it out. Gold and God says, hi, I'm a degree nurse with 6 years of work experience. I'm interested in relocating to Canada to work. That is what we are discussing now. So if you just joined in, please stay tuned. Nurse in Canada, did you face any cultural or professional challenges when you arrived in Canada?
Oh my goodness. So I don't think there's anybody who doesn't face it, right? Um, there's just different times it might happen to you. You know what I mean? Um, I did, but I also work in like a, let me say, province community floor in terms of work. I work like in a place where most people are very welcoming. So when it happens, really, it's just a few people. It's not a general thing. And I'm speaking from my experience and where I work and where I live, right? I've heard and I've had colleagues that have a different experience. So it's not to say that it's not there, but I did not experience it. And that's why I've had sometimes when somebody tried to question me or talk to me in a certain way. And I talked to my manager about that, and she puts her foot on the floor and she's like, you don't get to talk to people like that. You don't this, you don't that. So that's why I'm saying, like, this is my experience. I've had a very good ride, and it's good to the extent that if I say on a scale of 100, the other ones is just like a very small, like I don't consider it anything serious. You know what I mean? So that's my experience.
Wonderful. It's good. It's good to hear that you've had a positive experience, and I don't think you've had so much of a negative experience out there.
No, not at least not in my circle. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can hear people say somebody said this to me or somebody did that to me. I don't hear a lot of that. It's not to say it doesn't happen, but to the best of my knowledge, I don't hear a lot of that.
Wonderful. That's encouraging. So, how did you cope with being away from family and adjusting to a new environment?
I'm still coping, but I literally, I literally just, for me, my own journey. Remember, I had said that I moved as a permanent resident.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things about moving as a permanent resident. I got to move with my family,
Mhm.
right? So there are times or in certain situations that you probably will live away from your family because of work. But the good thing is that you are in Canada, right? So for me, I would say like while I live in Canada, I live in different places from my family because of work. But obviously, it can never ever be the same as somebody who's living country apart,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. So
Well said.
that's like the good thing for me. Like I moved with my family, so of course on the days that it got challenging, there's somebody to come back home to talk to and all of that. You get some support from somewhere. So
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, lies is a new food. Say he met his
don't mind him. He's my friend, so he knows me very well. Don't mind him.
and Achala Pizza says, "Net in Canada, happy Sunday." Um,
Hi,
okay,
hi.
I think somebody said, right up, thanks for the follow. Guys, if you just joined in and you missed the beginning of the live session, no worries. The replay is going to be available on my YouTube channel after the live session, all right? So if you just jump in, let's go together to the end. So I've got nurse in Canada here. She's an internationally educated nurse who is currently practicing in Canada in her profession, and she's sharing with us her journey, the story of her journey from her home country in Africa to Canada. So please stay tuned. Those who are following us, those who are sharing the live, those who are liking, tapping your screens, we really appreciate that. Don't stop what you're doing. Keep doing it. If you haven't met Ness in Canada before, if today is the first time you are meeting her, make sure you are checking out her page. She's got a lot of information there for you. If you are looking at going to Canada or you are on the route to Canada, she is your coach to Canada. So make sure you are heading over to her page when we are done with this live session to check out all the information she's got for you. Achala Vista says I missed it. Don't worry, the replay will be available on my YouTube channel. That said, my YouTube channel is Josephine Greatness TV. Just as you see the name of my TikTok page, just add TV to it when you are searching on YouTube, or to make it even more easier for you, just go into my TikTok bio. You'll find my YouTube channel link there. Click on it and it will take you straight onto my YouTube channel. All the live sessions I've had here on TikTok and on YouTube is available there. The replays are available there. You find it in the relocation or immigration playlist. Depending on what the topic was, there are playlists there where you can find uh, the replay. Was it last Wednesday? I was here on a live session. That was one of the, I think the first live session I've ever had on the Your Midwife series was about blood groups and razors practice. So for that, you can find it in the health education playlist on my YouTube channel. So do well to check out that. Alavista says, what's your YouTube channel name? It's Josephine Greatness TV. The same name on my TikTok profile. Just add TV to it, or you can find the link in my TikTok bio. Okay, Gold and God says, aside IELTS and presumably English, how can I get to work in Ghana? In Ghana as a nurse. Wow.
Did you mean Canada or Ghana?
Canada or Ghana. Okay, she means Canada. She's corrected herself.
Okay, okay. Do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so like I said before, it depends on what you want to do. If you would like to come in as a permanent resident, then you will start from the express entry profile. If you want to start from the express entry profile, you will start by evaluating your highest degree. And I say that first because for some people that takes the longest, right? Because you don't have control over maybe your institution and all those things. So now when you if you have a degree,
Mhm.
your West evaluation should be the first thing you should do.
Okay.
After you do that and you get a report, that report is valid for 5 years. So that's why I always say start with that because your IELTS, like you know, is valid for 2 years. And then when you create a profile on the NNAS portal, that is also valid for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say don't start with what will expire fastest. Start with what will take a longer time, which is if you have a degree, a West evaluation, you get that. You do your IELTS. Those are like the main things that you need to create an express entry profile. And you have to max out your IELTS, right? Then you create a profile if you want to come in as an express entry person. And coming in as express entry means that you're going to be coming in as a permanent resident. So that's one hand. Some people come in through education, even though it depends on how much fund you have and if that's a route that you want to explore, you can do that. It's just you then have to look for a school, look for a master's program, go through the whole immigration thing, get your show that you're able to pay your tuition, maybe do the master's. And please, if you choose to come through education, make sure that the school that you're choosing is a DLI, that is this designated learning institute. Not just being a designated institute, it has to be a program. The program you're choosing has to be a program that gives you or guarantees you a PGWP, which is a postgraduate work permit. That is what lets you stay in Canada
After.
after your education and start processing your PR. So don't just pick a course, don't just pick a school. Those are things you have to keep at the back of your mind if you choose to come as a student.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Okay.
then you have the one for like the job, right? Which is where like the agency and the recruiters and all these people are asking, which I said, I'm going to look for that particular person I sent to you. That one you'll be coming in on a work permit basis. So there are different routes. But if you want to, when it comes to the NCLEX, obviously you would choose a province, go on their, what's it called now, on their website. Every province in Canada has a part on their website. That's every nursing body has a part on their website that speaks specifically to international educated nurses. Okay, so you have to go on their website, check for international educated nurses, check what the requirements are. If you're not comfortable, no, not comfortable is not the word. If you're not clear,
Eligible. Okay.
no, if you're not clear on what you're reading, you can send a mail. They do well to respond to emails. I would have said call, but because of time differences, you also have to be sure of what time is best to catch them and then make the call. I always say if you want to call somewhere like the College of Nurses of Ontario, you want to call at 8 a.m. Monday to Friday because that's about the time they are just coming to work. Keep in mind, like if you're in Nigeria, you're 4 hours ahead. So that'll be like your 12 noon for
Yeah.
their 8 a.m. So that's why I don't always just say make a call. I always say check. If you're not very clear, send a mail. They will respond to you. So those are things that you can do as well.
Wonderful. So, next in Canada, you mentioned IELTS.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Good. So, the IELTS, what's the band score for each route?
So if you're coming in as express entry, you have to max your points. Like you have to score, if not the highest on all the whatever, right? And I'm speaking, I think, let me say for Nigerians, because I don't know if they're like different bands for different countries. I'm not sure. I'm speaking for Nigeria. You have to max out your points because if you don't max out your points, it will also affect you. Remember, like I said, that the express entry is a point-based
The
system.
point
So
based,
you
yeah.
also want to make sure that you are maximizing all the points within your reach. You know what I mean? So it's a point-based system. That much I know. However, people always ask for the NNAS. When you go on the NNAS portal as well, they always say IELTS, but there's a caveat if your language of instruction was not English. So you
Mm.
also have to be sure because if it's English, then it's usually waived, right? But if it's not in English, then I think they might need you to do, I think IELTS academic, I can't remember, and then they will need you to translate to English, whatever it is. So those
Okay,
are
can
things
you
to pay
talk a
attention
little
to.
bit more about the point based system?
So the point-based system in the express entry pool is your highest education Of course, if you have a PhD, you get a higher point. If you
Mm.
have a master's, you get maybe like medium, and then maybe if you have a BSc, so it's a point base. So based on what you have, if you have what's it called? If you score highest in the what's it called, the IELTS, that
Yeah.
gives you more points. Your years of experience gives you more points as well. I don't think they use that if you know somebody or if you have a job. Initially, having a job used to earn you points, but I don't think they use that anymore. Okay, so that's that in terms of the point system. Now, having said that, that's why I said you also have to be careful before you get in the express entry pool. Don't open a profile when you've not done your WES or you've not done your IELTS, because that profile becomes ineligible after 1 year. Every year that it's your birthday, you have to reopen a profile if you haven't moved past the point where you are, and you
Oh.
lose points.
Mm.
As you get older, you lose points. So that's why
Mm.
I said when I opened my own profile, I was like 300 and something, a very far cry from maybe like what the cutoff would be. So my next strategy was to go to the provinces and start expressing interest. Because the way it works is if that province picked me, like the province I talked about that picked me, if a province chooses you, you get an automatic 600 points
Wow.
that you can add in what you have.
Whatever you
So
have.
that's why it's a point thing. It's all about numbers.
So what's the highest point?
It depends. I think the last draws that they did was 500 and something.
Oh, okay.
So that's like how it works. So if somebody like me now is going there at my age, even though I have a lot of years of experience, but with my age, I would have dropped a lot of points. I
Mm.
have to start looking into provinces that
To
are
help
looking
you
for
get
my
the
kind of
point.
expertise to boost my point, so I can put that
Mhm.
point there, and then maybe if they do another draw, then I'll be eligible. So that's like how it
Okay.
works.
So the 500 you mentioned, was it the minimum point you need
So
to?
like the government does draws. Sometimes they do. Initially, they used to, people could tell when they do their draws, but now you can't really say. If, for instance, they do 500 and something for everybody, if they have a different draw, like a health draw, the score points might be low. They might say it will be 400.
Oh,
So
nice.
you can't say, like, they kind of like determine what they want their cutoff to be. But
Okay.
people can project to say, oh, if it was 500 this time, maybe the next time when they are calling will be 500 and something. And then people try to see if they meet up those points. So you
Okay.
can't really say for sure what the exact point is.
It's going
You
to
can only
be.
project. Yeah, you can only
Yeah.
project kind of.
And the other time, kindly hold on a second. Can you hear?
Yes, I can.
The other time, a colleague mentioned that the point base depends on what category of people you've got in your in quote your cohort. So if you've got a lot
Your
of
what?
kind of cohorts,
Okay.
so as we said, they do regular draws. So in that particular draw, if there are lots of people who have got PhDs and masters, then that also contributes to the minimum points needed.
So by the time you are finishing, whether you have a PhD or whatever it is, by the time you finish creating your profile, you see how much point you have.
Mm.
You know the points that you have. But what you don't know is if that is what that cutoff will be when they do a general draw. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
You can't say for sure. So if I finish creating my profile, I have everything and all that, right? And I have 500.
Mhm.
You now have to know what the last draws were, the general draws. If the general draws were like 570, obviously they're likely not to come down.
Mm.
But you have created a profile and you can see you have 500, and you know the last draws was like 570. You have to now try, maybe do the provincial nomination like I just spoke about, expression of interest to a province. See if a province is going to pick you based on if they're also looking for you, right? If they do pick you, you have an automatic, let's just 600 points that you will take back into your 500 points. Obviously, you are now above the cutoff. such that if they do a general draw and they are likely to then pick you. That's what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
which is different from when they do certain draws. If they do people with Canadian experience, the scores might be lower. If they do for people like in the health field, the draws might be lower, so you can't really say.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, was there anything that surprised you about nursing practice in Canada?
Yeah, a lot. A lot in the sense that the scope of practice is wider. Nurses have more autonomy. You are answerable to your license, so you're very careful what you're also doing.
Yeah.
But when I say nurses have autonomy, there's some decisions you can take as a nurse. And I say that because I don't know how nursing is done in Ghana, but I know that there's a lot of things you can't really do as a nurse in Nigeria without like a doctor's um,
Similar in Ghana.
input. Let me put it that way. So that's why I mean, like, you have more flexibility, you have more autonomy to do certain things, but you're also responsible for knowing what you're doing, right? So that's very, very different from how we used to do things back home.
Great,
So
great. And so, let's move on to life and career in Canada. How different is the healthcare system? You've mentioned um, some of it, that nursing is quite autonomous in Canada than your home country. Can you add on a little bit more light to that? Apart from nursing being autonomous, is there any, the system, the healthcare system in itself
okay,
compared to
so
back home?
I know that, how will I put it now? The thing about it is, aside from it having so much autonomy and all of that, you have to know what you're doing. Aside from knowing what you're doing, it's unionized. um Again, I don't know how things are done like back home for Ghanaians, but when I say like it's unionized, like you have your union maybe speak about your wage and things like that. Also, here you are paid by the hour,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, I don't know how things are done back home for you guys, but in my country, you're paid monthly. So that's another difference. So you're paid by the hour. I'm hearing now that it depends on maybe like where you are and the kind of position you have. This it's flexible to the extent that you can work a full time, you can work a part time, you can work a casual, right? So it's not like just because I have a full time employment, I must be with that employer. It's not really like that. I can be with that employer, but I can choose to take a casual or a permanent, a part time from another employer. But obviously, you will be paying your taxes for all of that.
Is this
So
what's happening currently, or it's a
yes,
projection?
that's how it is. If you get a job, like if I'm looking for a job now, I can choose if I want a part time position or if I want a casual position or if I want a full time position, right? Obviously, the casual position being that you won't really have benefits and you decide when you want to work. So, like somebody was asking if it's flexible enough for moms, single moms, and all of that, or moms who their job and their husbands always clash. So maybe they can make a family decision and say, okay, maybe the husband will take a full time and the wife will take like a casual. I'm just giving an instance, such that when the husband is available to stay with the kids, then the lady can pick the jobs when it's available. That's the thing about the casual. You control your time, so to say, right? Or sometimes it's when they need you that they will ask if you're available to come in. That's the thing about the casual. So
That's
that's another thing
the job.
about the job.
Great,
Yeah, so you can choose like if you want to do it full time, if you want to do more than one job, you can decide all of that.
great. So, what has been the highlight of your nursing career in Canada so far?
It's a lot, not really a lot, but it's quite significant. Significant in the sense that um sometimes no, not sometimes. Here, generally, if both of us are looking for like a higher position and all of that, sometimes they would consider you above me if you have more seniority in terms of like how many hours you've worked and stuff like that. It doesn't matter if I have 20 years of experience, but if you have more seniority above me, and that's part of like the requirement for the job, they will pick you above me. So those are things that people need to understand. Like, so that's the thing about like it's different from back home. Back home, you just feel like your years of experience obviously gives you you can't it doesn't work like that here. It's very different. Even I say that so that people can understand, even when it comes to vacation, if you have more seniority than me and I pick first of June, but you pick first of June after I picked first of June, the fact that you've got more seniority above me, I will lose that first of June. So I'm just trying to help people understand like it's not like how things are done back home. You just have to get into the system and understand how it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
it's part of
Okay.
that too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a bit of a personal question. How do you balance your personal life and settling into a new camp? How do you do
Like I always say, there's no blueprint. Families are different, structures are different. But when you have a good support system, then let's say your challenges are maybe like 80%, if not 90% sorted. I have a very helpful, understanding partner. So I don't I don't think I have to ask for a lot of things because we work as a duo. Like it's a partnership for us. There's no competition. Somebody sees you struggling here, the other person is helping. Of course, it's not typical for everybody, but most people, when they have good support system, they tend to do well. So I have a very good support. So I don't have a lot of challenges per se.
amazing? That's wonderful. Guys, if you just joined in, you are welcome. Don't worry, the replay is going to be available on my YouTube channel after the live session. Got here with me the lovely nurse in Canada, who is an internationally educated nurse currently practicing in Canada as a nurse, and she's sharing her relocation journey. Uh, so we are on it. So if you just joined in, don't worry at all. Even though you've missed a lot of it, the replay is going to be available for you later. So, next in Canada, what advice would you give to any IEN planning to move to Canada?
Okay, so I always start by saying, and I believe most of people here are Africans, so I'm just going to say it the way I always say it. But it's a funny way to say it, but it has to be said. You know, back home in Nigeria, we always say when you have shoulder pad, you know what the shoulder pad does is like it elevates your shoulder, right? Here, you got to put the shoulder pad off. Like you have to take it off, literally in every sense of it, because you need to show that you're humble enough to understand how things are done. It's called being culturally aware. You have to be culturally aware. You have to be culturally sensitive. Culturally aware in the sense that the way I will talk to you as an African, it's not the way I'll talk to somebody from here because it's not about them not understanding our lingo. There's certain things that we say that they have a hard time understanding. So you have to be culturally aware. Culturally sensitive in the sense that things are not done the way it's done back home. You may have your personal belief about how you feel, which is usually a big problem for people when they move. You might have a problem about your beliefs in terms of people being queer or gay or whatever. You got to keep that to yourself. That's being culturally sensitive. You don't judge people by that, right? So you also have to be careful the kind of things you say. Like how we say back home, if somebody greets me, I can say, "How are you doing, my dear?" Or, "Oh," we say some endearing things. You have to be careful when you use those kind of words when you talk to people on this side of the divide because they understand it differently. So you have to be culturally aware, you have to be culturally sensitive. Sometimes the things you say that don't mean anything means a lot to them, so you have to be careful. You also have to be observant enough and emotionally intelligent to read the room. A lot of things are not said word for word. A lot of things are not said verbatim. You have to read the room. So you have to be observant. Now that that is out of the way, the other thing that you have to learn is that you have to stay open to learning. Learning, so you have to see all those your years of experience. I'm not saying throw it away, but don't bring that to the front every time that you have to learn something. And I know that there are some Nigerians that when they talk, they say, at my age, nobody cares how old you are here. So I like to say those things for people that, feel like that's very important. It's not so important. So that, and then I know that people also want to move and come and walk and all of that. But while you are waiting for your next big break, which is Canada, Australia, wherever, learn to appreciate every moment. If you're working clinicals, continue to soak up everything that you can soak up. Just a second, I need to drink a glass of water.
If you just joined in, you're welcome. I can see
So yeah,
some of
I
you
mean,
tapping your screen. Thanks so much for doing that. Yeah, most Canada is better.
so you have to just realize that there are some things that you have to learn from the scratch. It can be something as little as an IV pump. The kind of IV pump you probably use at home is not what they use here. And what I've learned is you have to stay respectful, but still verbalize how you feel. So don't be afraid to say how you feel. If you don't know something, respectfully say you don't know how it's done, and somebody will teach you. Yes, there are people that will kind of like make you feel small because you don't know it, but those are not the people you need, because guess what? Once you learn it, you won't ask them next time,
Again,
right? So stay open to learning. While you're back home, if you're working clinicals, please do your clinicals, learn it well. Also, you need that because there's something they call currency of practice. And that's just basically to say that you have continued to maintain your license by working, maybe in the clinic, in the hospital, whatever, but you still have your currency of practice. So you don't want to maybe like reach out and they're asking you what your currency of practice is. And even though you're a nurse, you haven't really practiced in the last 5 years or whatever it is. So you need to be able to show all those things. That's important. So put the shoulder pad down, stay open to learning, be culturally aware, be culturally sensitive, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't know how to do something, say you don't know how to do it. And, just staying humble is very, very essential for this journey.
yeah. So, what common mistakes should IENs avoid during the relocation process?
Um, it will be very different, but one of the things that I know some people struggle with, especially when we're doing our verification, is um, when like if you're doing the NNS, they're likely to ask you if you're married, if you have a change of name or whatever. For ladies, especially if you're married, you need to upload whatever your documentation is, because chances are that when you were schooling, you had a different name,
Mm,
right?
that's
So that when your report is coming out, and you've changed your name. So for instance, I put my name when I was in school, I put that. I put my marriage name, I think they asked for a certificate, and I think they asked for some documentation just to show, such that when your report is coming out, right, it has all the names that you now want them to bear. Keep in mind that if that name is different from maybe like your passport, you also want to make sure that your passport carries the name. I say that because recently I heard about somebody who had a different name. So maybe she had her marriage name on her passport, but when she was registering for the NCLEX or whatever, she used her maiden name for some reason. I don't know, but I'm just giving you an example. She got to the center and was not allowed to sit for that exam. So little things that you would take for granted in terms of like, oh, it's just a name. It's not just a name. Things are very, very important. So you have to be sure that you're using the right information across board. You have to be sure that you're using that name, same name across the board and all those things. So that's one of the mistakes that people tend to fall into.
And if you could go back and start all over again, what would you do differently?
I probably won't leave home and hope that I'm still as comfortable as I am here, if that makes any sense, right? Because a lot of times, what did you say?
Repeat that again.
I said I probably won't have left home, but in the hopes that things will be as good as it is here, like I'm still as comfortable. Because the truth of the matter is, people don't necessarily want to leave family, loved ones, and things like that. That's the reality of it. But people have to make tough decisions, um, you know, because there's like a particular future that they have envisioned and
Yes.
stuff like that. And for them to be able to get that, they probably have to make these moves, which takes them across continents, right? So if I was to, it would just be, oh, things are as good as it is. I'm as happy as I am, comfortable, and all that. But I'm doing all of that back home where I have all my family, like, so honestly, that's what it is for me.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, this is the most, I'm not saying the other questions I've asked weren't important, but this question means a lot to me. What resources are available for those who are on this Canada route? Are there any books, any websites, organizations, communities that can help them?
Okay, so this journey is a very overwhelming journey.
Mm,
It's overwhelming in the sense that the example I always give is, as a Nigerian, when I write my nursing and midwifery council exam, I can use that license in any state in Nigeria. That's not what it is here. Here, every state or every province, as we call it, has different requirements. So it leaves the information very scattered. So you can see I kept saying you have to be sure which province you have to do this because it's very different. It's not like back home. And just generally having that idea that it's not a blanket information overwhelms almost every international educated nurse.
So that means if you want to move from province A to B, it's a whole new process again.
If you are in Canada, if you're moving from province to province, you don't have to redo another license. You just have to transfer your license. But even at that, if I'm moving from province A to province B, all my seniority, all my hours is gone. I'm starting from scratch,
Mhm.
right? But anyway, just starting the journey, the whole IELTS, NNAS, which province, and all of that, it's an overwhelming journey. So I found over the years that people always ask one same question. And that one same question you can see has been very evident in the comment section of this. I want to move. How do I start? Where do I start? It's a very overwhelming thing to just think about. So I said, okay, why not? So I came up with a guide. So that guide talks about all these options I've talked about. If you choose to do the express entry, if you choose to do permanent, whatever, and then I went further to add the different provinces because I know that's the other challenge that people always ask. And what I did in my guide is for each of those provinces website, I made it in such a way that you're able to click on the link and it takes you directly to them. So you're not leaving the guide. You're going to click on it, it will take you to the link and you read everything you want to read about that province's website. You go and look for the IE and see what the up-to-date requirement is because it changes every now and again. So I did that because even just as you're doing your life, a lot of times when I get on my life, those are the kind of questions that I find that nurses are always looking for information for. And it's not because they are unintelligent. That's actually very far from the truth. It's just that the information is just all over the place and it makes it difficult to actually just focus on what you need to focus on and get going. right? So that's why I came up with that guide, and that guide is called the IAM Guide to Moving to Canada.
And
So
so
that, yeah,
so where can they get the
I do have the link on my what's it called now, on my TikTok page. I do have a link for that. I think it's like the first product you see if you click on the link in my bio. You would see the link there, and obviously, they can also reach out to you if they want to purchase it as well. So
So that's it, guys. Nurse in Canada is giving a discount, a 24 hours discount, isn't it? So
yeah,
if you are here on this live and you are on the Canada route or you are going to be on the Canada route, she is giving out a discount. It's a 5% discount, isn't it?
yep.
Great. So you can use the code CAN 2025 to get that discount. So what's going to happen is, I've mentioned the replay of this live session is going to be available on my YouTube channel. So after this live, few hours after this live, just go onto my YouTube channel, find this video. The title of it is um, an internationally educated nurse journey, relocation journey to Canada. Check the description section. The link to the guide is going to be there. On that link, you are going to find the 5% discount via that link. So do well to find it. I've just glanced through the link, the guide, and it's amazing. It's just like most of you were asking, are there agencies that can help, take me through the process, give me the information I need? This guide is just like an agency holding your hand throughout the step by step process to getting into your Canada dream. And it's just like nurse in Canada holding your hand through it. All the questions you have are answered in there. The information you need to take you through this process are all in there. All right. So please check the description section. In fact, Nurse in Canada, I'm going to pop the link in most of my videos description section that is on my YouTube
Okay,
channel. So find my YouTube channel link in my TikTok bio, click on it, go in there, check in the description section. You're going to find the seller link there. Click on it and it will take you right down to it and you get it there. From Nest in Canada, you said from 1700 UK time today to tomorrow, 1700 UK time. God
that's right.
willing, you are going to get that 5% discount. And when I saw the price, oh my God, it's amazingly affordable. It is affordable. I don't think you get this guide at that price. Anyway, I see guides going round and it's seriously expensive, but this is wonderful. So please don't miss that. Check the description section of the replay of this live session on my YouTube channel. Get the link and get your 5% discount within 1700 today, UK time, till God willing tomorrow, 1700. You get that. After that, it goes back to the original price, guys. So yeah. So nursing Canada. Where do you see your nursing career in the next 5 years? Are you still going to be in Canada? If yes, where is it going to?
Um, that's a very huge question because I do have a couple of things in my mind that I want to try to achieve. I have three things that I want to, through three, well, I call them specialties that I want to explore,
Mm,
but I haven't decided, like, I haven't decided which one I want to zone into. And those three specialties would be um, getting chemo certified. I haven't decided if I want to do that. Um, if I do, I would do take the certification, which probably should take me maybe like 8 months and 8 weeks to, yeah, to 10 weeks thereabout. The other thing that I want to do is to also see if I've been thinking about nursing informatics, so I might explore that. And finally, the other thing that I want to try to do is to become like a legal nurse, like just have some legal expertise, just to be able to be a voice for people when they do run into issues like documentation errors and those kind of things. So those are like the three major things that I'm thinking, but I'm yet to zone in because I like all of three of them. But like I said, I play a lot, so I know I'm not going to do all three of them.
Yes,
So
yourself
I'm
too.
trying to decide which one to settle for.
Because I
When
was going to
I
say, why not try all three of them? And then you've answered that.
I always say I'm not so serious. Trust me, I'm not that. I don't love book like that. Like, but
It doesn't
I
look
will
like
explore one
somebody who
definitely.
doesn't love Buko.
That's what they
You are a book
say.
lover.
That's what they say. That's what they say. So yeah,
Because
that's
put
that's like my
together this
projection in the
wonderful guide,
next.
it's book lovers who do the work you've done in that wonderful guide you've created.
Thank
And
you.
that question I asked you because I wanted to know how career progression is in Canada.
Okay, so it's smooth in the sense that, for instance, I've worked oncology, like I said, all this time that I've worked there. If my manager comes to me and says, "Oh, or if I have the interest, and I go to my manager and say, "Is there a certification I'll be interested in all that?" Then I'll be able to enroll for that. Okay. So that's why I say it's smooth to an extent. But a lot of times to be able to work certain certification, certain specialties in nursing, they need you to have X amount of hours. They want you to work X amount of hours. So maybe they want you to work the first 1 year, or they can say maybe 1,000 hours, something like that, and then they'll let you do it. So that's why sometimes when people say they have certain specialties from back home, you are not very certain if that's the same specialty you might be working. You know what I mean? So it's okay to have, like, I'm a midwife, but I haven't literally practiced midwifery in my nursing journey. Aside from when I did it like the first 2 years after nursing, you know what I mean? So, and then since I moved to Canada, I've worked on one floor, which I have loved, which is the oncology floor, which interests me a lot because, which is story for another day. I'm a breast cancer survivor myself, so that interests me, right? So if I choose, that's why I say I'm not sure if I want to be chemo certified because I don't know if I'm mentally ready for that. But if I choose, then yes, I will maybe walk up to my manager and say, "Oh, I'm interested in taking the certification." And then they'll probably just pen my name down. And then when the window opens for another certification, they'll tell me to do it. Again, most of the floors and most of the units, how it works in my province is that most of the units are independent of themselves. So they are, like, will I say, self-funded? Let me put it that way. So sometimes for the year, they have like an allocation of people in the unit that they want to get to do certifications and things like that. So that's why I say it's kind of smooth. But if, for instance, I'm working in oncology and it's not something I have interest in, maybe I want to do ICU or whatever, then I probably have to maybe look for a unit, get an opportunity in that unit, start working in the unit, and then go and do the certification, or pay to go through school to do the course for myself. So it's kind of like smooth. It's not so difficult.
Wonderful, wonderful. So can't 67890 say, please can a midwife also relocate to Canada?
I'm not sure because the way it works is like, I don't know, I might be wrong, but the way it works is that they always want you to have that NCLEX first, right? Which is like some, like the same thing that I'm saying. I don't think they have that window to. I think that's how it works. Like in the UK, you can't work as a midwife and things like that. But for here, you have to like do that NCLEX because the NCLEX is what guarantees you to work as a registered nurse first of all. I don't think they have like a separate exam for midwives.
So I can't. Am I mentioning the name there?
Yeah, can't is I think it's can
Yeah, can't.
67, 8,
So
90.
can't. I'm going to be back on a live session with an internationally educated midwife to talk about the route to Canada. All right, because um, the route to being practiced in midwifery in Canada is a bit
It's
slightly different
different.
from how it is for general nurses. So I'll be back on a live session with an internationally educated midwife to also discuss that. If that answers your question. So please
Yeah.
be patient. That live session will come in very soon. All right, fine, great. So yeah. So next in Canada, please your final word.
Um, I always say that I'm rooting for you. It's tough, but it's not impossible. Um, just get ready to have an open mind. The other thing I also always say is that there is no finished nurse. You're only finished when you feel like you know everything. And quite frankly, that's not how nursing operates. We all know that things are always changing. Policies are always just coming up, research and all of that. So keep an open mind. Don't ever assume that you're a finished nurse. You will always be a nurse in progress. That's it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Miss in Canada. Guys, I want to remind you of the IEN guide Nurse in Canada has produced, and there is a 5% discount, 24 hours 5% discount, starting from today 1700 UK time till God willing tomorrow 1700. So if you need the guide, if you want to, get hold of that guide, please check my YouTube channel. I'm going to post the replay of this video on there. Check the description section and you'll find the link to the 5% discount. All right, to the guide. It's an amazing guide. You need it. You need it. Okay, great. So, if you have any question that you feel you can't type into the comment section, but you want to join the guest seat, it's currently 1800 here in the UK. We are going to give 2 minutes for people to join the guest seat while we've got Nurse in Canada here to ask your question. If within that 2 minutes nobody joins the guest seat or no question is popped in the comment section, then we'll call it a day because tomorrow is the beginning of another week. People are getting ready for work. So the floor is open. If you have any question, those on YouTube, if you have any question, you can pop it in the comment section. Same with those here on TikTok. If you have any question at all, feel free to pop it on there. So it was great having you all here. Net in Canada, thank you so much for your time. I've been on your neck, right?
That's okay.
Worrying you day, night, afternoon. Oh my God. Thank you
That's
so
okay.
much for making time for this live session to help people
Thank
who
you.
are looking at joining you in Canada. It's great to have you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. And guys, if you haven't met Nurse in Canada before, you can see that's her profile name, Nurse in Canada, and you can see a plus sign next to it. Go click on it, go and check out her page. If you are somebody who is on the Canada route, Nurse in Canada is who you need, and you are an internationally educated nurse, is the one you need. So I'm sure Nurse in Canada doesn't have a problem with you DMing her. He's happy to hear you out, right? Wonderful. So guys, do go and check out if she's got lots of information there for you if you're on the Canada route. I think our 2 minutes is up. I don't think anybody has got
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is we do have a WhatsApp group,
okay.
but we do not add anybody to that WhatsApp group until they show some form of commitment on the journey. Some of commitment would be something like they've started the NNAS process, or maybe they're about to write the exam or something, right? And it's there's different nurses from everywhere. We've got people from South Africa, Ghana, like everywhere. Even the majority of us are like Nigerians, but you would always, and we have people who are still working like in the UK in the group as well. So I'm just trying to say, like, the only caveat to adding into that group is you must show some commitment in terms of what stage you are at in the Canada journey.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So it's a whole big community where you can get support if you're on the pathway. Wonderful. So and guys, that said, I've got some of you in my DM. I've not been able to respond to you all. Don't worry. Um I'm looking at coming back on a live session so we can talk about your queries and all of that. So watch out on my page for information on that. It's going to be a general question and answer session. I'm going to end it on YouTube now. So guys, if you are meeting me for the first time, it's just been greatness and just been greatness TV. Today we talked about it was a storytelling time, an internationally recruited nurse who shared her relocation journey to Canada with us. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you are clicking on the subscription button and do turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos or my live sessions. Until we meet again in my next video, in my next live session, take care of yourself. Bye bye. Great. So here on TikTok, if there isn't any question for Ness in Canada, I am going to drop Ness in Canada. Ness in Canada, if you've got anything you want to add on to what we've discussed today, you are free to go for it.
No, I'll just go, like I said, and look for that person and send that link to you.
Okay.
Um, I was just even saying to my husband today that I'm trying to get a session with her where she can come and talk. It's just that I don't know anybody personally that she has provided that service to, because sometimes when you know somebody personally, it does bring some form of authenticity to it. Yeah, but I do not know anybody personally, but I mean, I can still invite her to just talk about the entire process and stuff. But until I get to that part, if you get to her before me, I'm happy to join the live, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Whichever gets
So
there first, invite her.
yeah, but I'll send her to you. I'll send that ID to you. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time.
You're very
Have
welcome.
a fruitful week. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye
Good
bye.
luck, everyone. Bye.
Good luck to you too.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Guys, it was lovely having you all here. As usual, the replay is going to be available on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel name is Just in Greatness TV, just as you see up there on my TikTok profile. Just that on YouTube, you just add TV to it, all right? Or to make it easier, as I always say, my YouTube channel link is in my TikTok bio. Yeah, Mia, yeah, it's been a long time. Where have you been? Are you okay? Wonderful. And those who are looking to communicate with me outside TikTok, please join my Telegram page and channel. The links to my Telegram page and channel are in the description section of all my YouTube video. Go on there. If it is something you don't feel like sharing on the page and you want me to DM you, kindly indicate on the page if I can DM, and I'm happy to DM. On the Telegram page, there are lots of people there, people on route, the journey to almost all the destinations, almost all the countries I've been here on a live session to talk about. So please do well to join the page. Jobs are posted there. If you need anything, yeah, Nurse in Canada, please go for it. Should I bring you back on? Okay, okay. So Nurse in Canada is joining us back.
Yeah, I forgot to mention something real quick. I had put on my page that the province of New Brunswick was doing a job fair for the nurses in the UK.
Wow.
It's happening on the 11th of October. If you go in my page, you will see the post. If you
Can
are
you share the
interested
post with
and
me
you
so I
are in
can
the
repost
UK,
it?
uh, I can do that once I get off. I'll look
Yeah,
for
when
it.
you get off, please share
Yeah,
it with
I'll
me.
yeah, I'll do that. So if you're interested and you're in the UK, you can. I don't know if it's still open because it's been on since last month, but you can try your luck. Now, the other thing I always like to say is when you go on the link, you only get to upload your resume. So upload your, if it's possible to look for like a Canadian standard resume, do it, but write the things that are applicable to you that is specific to nursing. So maybe like your role, if you work in IC, if you work in maternity, those kind of things. But just make your CV because that's the only thing you need to upload. That's like what they will use to filter and pick people. So if it's something that you are interested in, you can see if it's still open and apply to it. I'm going to send the link to Josephine just after I get off this live so that she can reshare to you guys.
Wonderful. And at
All
the
right.
beginning of the live session, in fact, I also forgot to ask this. Somebody asked how to go about the process from UK to Canada, not from Africa.
From the UK.
Mm,
I will also add somebody to you when that person or when you message that person, tell the person you're from nurse in Canada because she's a nurse in the UK and she did get the whole Canadian thing. I think she did the NCLEX,
wonderful.
got got the NCLEX and was able to get a job
Good.
from the UK. So I don't have all the details from her. And even if I do, sometimes it's best to hear directly from people, right? So I will also add her and you can message her as well, right?
I will.
Okay, we can do that. It's fine. So that's three things I'm sending to you: the
Okay.
agent lady,
Mm-hmm.
the job fair, and then this other lady in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Okay, that was amazing. That was amazing. Great. So, guys, watch out for. She's going to share the post with me, the job fair for UK residents, and I'll repost it. I'll pop it on my story. I'll repost it so that it will be easier for people to find it in the For You page. It was really great having you all here. That said, make sure you are watching the replay on my YouTube channel. When you get on there, do well to subscribe to the channel. Don't just benefit from the videos and the information there. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Like the videos. If you have any question, pop it in the comment section. And you can join my Telegram page and channel as well. If you've got any query you want to, talk about it outside TikTok. If you want me to DM you to pop it on the Telegram page and channel, and I'll DM you. My Telegram page and channel links are in the description section of all my YouTube videos, guys. So yeah, get in touch. Get in touch. It was great having you all here. Have a wonderful week. Um, okay, this is Hasta la vista. Yes, I'm currently in the UK. I'm currently in the UK. Great. So I'm also going to come back on a live session. I mentioned last Wednesday, this very past Wednesday, I was on a live session, which was the very first. It was the very first live session on the Your Midwife series. It was all about blood groups and results factors. I'm going to be back on a live session with a guest to discuss HB electrophoresis, so that's the sickling status and how it relates to choosing a life partner. So we'll be back to talk about that one too. And I'll be back on a general question and answer session as usual. Those of you that have not been able to answer to your queries in my DM on TikTok. I'll be back on a live session to, try to answer you if I've got answers to your questions. All right. So it is still Josephine Greatness, your midwife. Yeah, there was quite a lot of noise in the background. It is still just in greatness, your midwife. Until we meet again in my next video, do well to engage on the page, and I believe you get some answers to some of your questions. It was great having you all here. Those who followed me, those who liked the live, those who shared it, I really appreciate you. Our gifters, bless you all again. Bye bye. Have a great week.